No, no, must shoot my shot. Need school. Quarantine? And we're back here with a matchup between learning and COVID-19. Let's jump right to our starting lineups here. Representing KIPP Academy and the Shoot Your Shot, standing at 5'11", 150 pounds soaking wet. He's from the University of Michigan and Francis Parker High School here in Chicago, Mr. Saturno. Hey, welcome back, guys. I'm really excited to be learning with you. I'm really excited to be back together, even though it's not in a classroom, and even though we're stuck in this room and on this computer. There's a couple of things I want to go over before we get started on today's lesson. Number one, always and forever, shoot your shot. That means trying your best no matter what, whether it's on the computer or whether it's in our classroom. Number two, it's going to be difficult these first couple of days, so I want you to pay very close attention to every single direction I give, and also to make sure that you're trying your best to follow along. Thirdly, you can always call me at this number right here if you have any questions whatsoever. Capiche? Let's get started with reading, shall we? So this is what our classwork is going to look like, normally for whole group reading before we transition to stations, which we will still do. You see right here we have a quick PDN. Type a note to a teammate in the box below saying why you miss seeing them in school. I want you to think about that in your head and post that onto the stream by yourself. I want you to make sure that you write the teammate's name as well. You can do that anytime you want. Number two says, what is a chore that you are doing to help out your family? Take a picture of you doing it and post it on the stream for extra credit. You'll get some extra credit if you just post yourself doing some chores. Take a shot at it. I'm going to post myself doing the chore for my good friend, Mr. Monkey. We'll meet in a little bit. Anyway, let's take some notes, shall we? When we look at board equals paper, we're going to talk about plot, mountain, and theme. The plot is what happens in the story. High school bound KIPPsters, which are all of you, use plot to help them identify the theme of the story. We always start here at our rising action, and we rise all the way up to the climax, which I always put a star next to, because that's like the most exciting part of the story. Then we fall down here, and our resolution is where our character learns their lesson, and the problem is solved. Really smart students always make sure when they're retelling a story, they include the exposition, the climax, and the resolution. Connect if you remember this before. But now let's talk about the theme. The theme is the moral or the life lesson or deeper meaning of a story. The best themes can be used in many different situations and different lives, which means they can be used for Daryl's life, for Ethan's life, for Trinity's life, for my life, for everybody's life. High school bound KIPPsters identify a theme by summarizing the beginning, middle, and end using the plot, asking themselves what did the character learn, and asking how the lesson can be used in many different situations or different lives. We're going to read now a passage together like we normally do in class. If you're following along on your phone or a computer, I want you to follow along with your finger as we read, because good readers always follow along with a finger or a pencil. I'm going to annotate the page because I got this fancy computer here. You can just sit back and watch me annotate so that you can be ready for your independent practice stations and your exit ticket. Alright, let's get started reading. But first, let's look at our shooter guide. We're going to make sure that we box all the characters, write a gist statement, underline text evidence, put a P for the problem, and an R for the resolution. While we're reading, you can just follow along with a finger, being ready to read with me if you're on your computer or your phone, and I'll make sure I'm annotating the best I can. Let's read, shall we? The title is The Reading Chair. I'm going to circle that since that's my title. Daniela couldn't understand why Dad spent every Saturday cooped up in the garage building chairs. After all, the machine-made chairs available at the mall were just as large and nice-looking. Sometimes Daniela would hover nearby, watching Dad using his saws, sanders, and drills, but the heat in the garage was overpowering, so after a while, she would go read in the yard. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to box the characters. I see one of the characters is Daniela right here. I also see Daniela right here. And I see a second character, which is her father, otherwise known as D-A-D, Dad. I've now boxed a couple of spots for the characters. I'm not worried about boxing every single spot since we've been identifying characters and finding them since day one of school. We're pretty good at it, so I think that's good enough. I'm now going to ask myself, where is this story taking place? We're at the beginning of the story, so I should be seeing my exposition. I see that she can't stand the heat in the garage. It was overpowering. Well, if you're in the garage and then you go read in the yard, that's probably telling me that she's at her house. She's at her what? House. That's exactly right. And I see that the biggest problem here is that Daniela isn't sure why her dad is spending all this time building chairs, especially since the ones that you can get at the store are just as nice. I'm going to put a P right here for problem. I don't know why it made it to that. I just want it to be a P. Let's see if it does it this time. Nope. Let's see if it does it this time. Yay! Hip hip hooray! Now I'm going to fill in my gist. It says right here that Daniela is, well, she doesn't understand why, so I'm going to say she's confused about why her dad spends so much time in the garage. Let's keep reading, maybe we'll find out. When he finished, Dad, I'm going to box that, would stand in the driveway with his safety glasses on. He would shout, "Fire away!" and Daniela would spray him with water. Then they would share a cold ginger ale. One day, when Daniela peeked in the garage, the pile of lumber finally looked like a chair. A week later, it was her favorite shade of royal blue. Sounds like it's getting a little more interesting. The next Saturday, Dad carried the chair to her reading spot under the magnolia tree. Then Dad lay back in the grass, resting. Daniela sat in her chair. "Now every time you sit in this chair, you'll remember our weekends together," said Dad. Daniela smiled. She now realized why her dad spent so much time in the garage and made things by hand. I'm in the first box where I see some characters. I've already boxed Dad, but I'm going to box Danielle about 2 more times, and Dad here as well. I'm going to underline this right here. Now you'll sit every time and remember our weekends together. That's something that Dad says. But first, I'm going to now look for, how is this problem solved? Why does Daniela finally start to understand why her dad spent so much time? And you see right here, she now realized while her dad spent so much time making things by hand, that here is our resolution. I'll put an R right there. I'm now going to think, where did this problem start to be solved? And also, what's the most exciting part in the story? She first doesn't really understand why this chair is being made, but then she sees it's her favorite color, and it finally starts to look like a chair. So I'm going to underline this part right here. The next Saturday, Dad carried the chair. No, I'm not. I'm going to underline the part where it says, a week later, it was her favorite color of royal blue, and it finally starts to look like a chair. That's our climax. No, it's not a circle. It's a climax. I guess that's good enough. Let's fill in the gist, shall we? Daniela's dad makes the chair for her, or for Daniela, so she can read under the tree. Really nice of her dad to do that. Now, what is the main problem of the story? Well, the main problem of the story, I'm going to write the main problem of the story. Ooh, we gotta scoot this over. Is that Daniela did not understand why her dad was making the chair. I know that doesn't look like a full and complete sentence because the spacing's weird. I'll make sure that that's figured out by the next time we do one of these together. Now, we're going to choose a couple of statements that sound like our problem, our exposition, our climax, and our resolution, picking 3 best options. Let's look down here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to cross out answers that are not true. Let's read. A, Danielle and her dad are building chairs in the garage. I'll put a dash right here because she kind of helps out, but like not totally. B, Danielle doesn't understand why her dad's taking so much time with the chairs. Ooh, that sounds like our problem. I'll put a dash here and that's definitely true. C, Danielle's dad builds a chair for her mom. I can cross that out because she didn't build a chair for her mom. She built a chair, or he built a chair, for Danielle. D, Danielle's dad is almost finished with the chair and it was her favorite color on it. That happened. Put a dash right here. Danielle's dad gives her the chair for her to sit on while she reads. That's also true. Danielle is forced to wash her dad after he's done making the... What? That didn't happen in this story. Cross that out. Well, now we have only a couple of options. 4 exactly, and we need to pick 3. I know I'm going to pick B because B is my problem. So I'm going to circle B right there. Now I'm even put a P right here just so I know that that's the problem. It's going to make that weird thing again, but I'll just leave it. Now I have A, Danielle and her dad are building chairs in the garage. That tells me where the story is taking place. I want to be looking now more for the climax and the resolution. We said in our notes up here that the climax was the part where she figured out it was her favorite color. Oh, I see right here that answer choice D talks about it being her favorite color. I'm going to circle that one and know that that's my climax. D is my climax. Daniela's dad gives her the chair for her to rest on and read. That sounds like how the problem is solved. She finally understands why her dad is making the chair. It's for her to read. Sounds like B, D, and E are our best answers. Let's keep going down so that we can ask ourselves, what did this character learn in the story? It's specifically Danielle, so we can figure out the theme. What does the main character learn in the story? A, the chair has special value because her dad made it by hand? Maybe. B, Daniela likes the chair because it's her favorite color? Maybe. C, it is hard work to make a chair by hand? I don't know. She didn't do any of the hard work. I don't think she learned that. D, ginger ale tastes so good. That's true. I don't really know why that's in this story, though. We can cross that out. She drinks ginger ale once. I mean, everyone knows it's good. I don't think she learned that. Anyway, what did she learn in this story, though? I think she finally learned why her dad was making things by hand. So I'm going to change answer choice A as the best answer there. Especially since it says up here in our text, Danielle, she now realized, like that's her learning something new right there. Which statement best describes the theme of the story? So I know Danielle learned that this chair made by hand was special because her dad made it by hand. How can we change something that's made by hand being special for everybody? Reading chairs are very comfortable. I mean, I guess that's for everyone. Handmade things can have special value. Ooh, it's talking about something made by hand. I'll put a dash there. It's cool to get gifts. That could be true. I don't know if that's what she learned, though, in this story. I'll put a dash, though. You should always appreciate what your parents give you. I think that's a good theme, too. Wow, all these could be good answers. But which theme most talks about something being handmade, which is what Daniela learns? That would be answer choice B. That's why it's our best theme, is because it talks about what Daniela specifically learned in this story, but makes it for everybody. Well, that's going to be it for reading today. You can just shoot your shot on your stations by reading it on your own and filling in a Google form. I'll make sure that you figure out how to fill that in if you watch this next video after this. Keep shooting your shot.